Notre Dame won the toss, elected to kick off. Deep for the Hawkeyes, number 39, Norris on the far side, number 44, Kimball on this side. The referee, Meyer, blew the whistle, and the game is underway. A kick going down in the direction of Kimball, bounces on the 5. He picks it right up on the goal line. He's back to the 10, gets to the 15, the 20, and fights his way up to the 24-yard line before he's brought down. Snook at quarterback, Norris and Kimball, the running halfbacks. Driving with the ball and going for about 2 yards. The ball carrier, it's Simpson who has gone in, number 42, gone in at halfback for the Iowa Hawkeyes, starting in place of Kimball. And he got up to the 42-yard line, or rather the 26-yard line, a 2-yard gain. So it's second down and about 8 yards to go. With the ball is Simpson, and Simpson comes right off of the spot that Jim Morris just mentioned, going up to the 33-yard line. He came right off of the left side of the Notre Dame line over his own right tackle and advanced to the 33-yard line. The ball is just about 18 yards in from the west side, and it's blowing along the ground now with the wind, moving it from the 33 back to the 30. But they'll place it down. It'll be third down and about a yard to go. We'll check that defensive lineup of Notre Dame for you in just a moment as play develops down below us. Gary Snook at quarterback, giving to Simpson once again the same play, and he gets the first down as he comes through the same hole up to the 35-yard line. First and 10 for the Iowa Hawkeyes. So let me identify the Notre Dame defensive unit here. At left end is Gamitter. At right end is Page. The tackles are Hardy and Regner. The linebackers are Carroll, Kostelnik, Vassis, and McGlissy. In the secondary, Tony Carey, Tom Longo, and Nick Rassis. Carl Noonan, the flanker back, extremely wide to the right as the ball goes to Norris. Norris goes off the right side of the Notre Dame line this time, from the 36-yard line up to about 39. A gain of almost 4 yards, 3 yards in the play. It'll be second down and about 7 yards to go.
And Jim, this is the same type of play that Michigan State worked so successfully last week, and we continue to talk about. Michigan State runs it as a power sweep. However, Iowa cuts it in a little bit closer, has the same number of blockers out front, but they run it more off tackle.
All right, Jimmy, Noonan to this side this time. With the ball is Simpson. Simpson whirls away from tacklers across the 45. As he comes over his own left guard, veers a little bit farther to the left and goes across the 45, up to the 47. Another first down in the Iowa Hawkeyes. Rule off 2 first downs. Tom Kostelnik coming in to make the stop. As Jerry Burns, Hawkeyes, move from their own 24-yard line up to their own 46. Out of the huddle they come. Carl Noonan extremely wide to the right. The running backs are Norris and Simpson. Gary Snook hands off to Norris. Norris sweeps to the outside to the left and gets a yard or two as he gets up to the 48 or 49-yard line. Again, it was Kostelnik who drifted over to make the stop. Gary Snook, the quarterback for the Hawkeyes, has thrown 290 passes this season. He's completed 143, 1,985 yards, 11 touchdowns. So we expect to see lots of passing. The Hawkeyes have not been noted for their running attack thus far this year, but with this strong wind, they will not pass until they have to. Second down, 8 to go. Notre Dame digging in the stop. Back to pass goes Snook, throwing in the flat, and it's complete to Jacobazzi across the 450 down to the 45-yard line. Coming in to make the stop was Nick Rassis. Gary Snook dropped straight back. Jacobazzi, who was a right end, drifted out, took the pass on the 45 and was hit immediately. So it'll be third down and a yard to go as now the Hawkeyes of Iowa, against the number 1 team in the country, have moved from their own 24 down to the Irish 45-yard line. The ball just about 18 yards in from this the west side. Out of the huddle come the Hawkeyes. The ball goes to Simpson, and Simpson is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. The play that worked for him on 3 games is he tried to come off of the left side of Notre Dame's line, his own right tackle. The hole closed. Tom Regner came over to make the stop right at the line of scrimmage. So it's very close. It's fourth down, and we'll see now what Iowa does. Whether or not they are going to go for the first down as Kimball comes in for them at one of the running back spots.
Michigan State tried to make the first down on fourth down and did not make it.
All right, they're going for the first down, and they did not make it. I don't believe they made it. We'll see whether or not they did, but it doesn't look to me as though they did. It's the advance of the ball, and the referee has signaled that they did not make the first down. And so, in almost an identical spot, Michigan State was at midfield. The Hawkeyes are a little bit farther down with the defense of Notre Dame stiffened. And Notre Dame, you'll recall, in the second play against the Spartans, went for a touchdown as Eddie ran all the way. John Heward in at quarterback. Most of the defensive team is in there with the exception of Snow and Heward. Heward dropping back to pass, looking downfield, throws long for Snow, and it's no good. In his hands, but as he fell to the turf, he couldn't hold it. As Johnny Heward tried to pull the string and go all the way for a score.
Jim, that, of course, is a switch all year long. Ara Parseghian and his staff, when the defensive team has been in there, has wanted to throw that short sideline pass and either have it completed and have the man step out of bounds or perhaps incompleted for a timeout, and that, of course, would bring the offensive team in, and he threw the bomb that time.
Same offensive formation, the double wing for the Irish they use. Going with the ball and driving for yardage up to midfield is Joe Farrell. Joe Farrell from Chicago, Illinois, the senior. He has an average of 4.1, 339 yards.
And Bill Walski is in the ball game, Jim. As I mentioned prior to the start of this game, he was a doubtful starter and, of course, did not play last week against Michigan State because of a pulled hamstring muscle, but he appears to be all right today.
Third down, 5 yards to go. The ball is right at the midfield stripe. Equal distance between the sidelines. Heward with the ball. He hands off to Walski, and Walski does not get the first down as he gets down to about the 47-yard line. Bill Walski went off his own right guard, tried to come to the left as he got over the line of scrimmage and was brought down on the 47-yard line of Iowa. So now we have Notre Dame with fourth down, 2 yards to go. Upfield, Jack Snow, their punter, is in. As Walski comes out of the ball game, Pete Andriotti goes in. So for Notre Dame, we have Heward, Eddy, Andriotti, and Farrell in the backfield, Snow and Sheridan in the ends, Meeker, Meyer, Ataney, and Arrington and Nicola. And they're out in running position. Heward calling the signals, and the whistle blows. Too much time. 5-yard penalty, as Notre Dame obviously just wanted to get their defensive team in. Moreland, number 43, is in the lineup receiving on this side for the Hawks. High pass from center. There's the kick. Beautiful spiraling kick, calling for the fair catch and faking it is Noonan as the ball flies into the end zone. And it'll be 1st and 10 now for the Hawkeyes on their own 20. 7 minutes, 54 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. No score in the ball game. Notre Dame and Iowa. Iowa Hawkeyes took the opening kickoff after Notre Dame had won the toss, elected to kick with the wind. And the Hawks moved from their own 24 up to the 45-yard line of Notre Dame. But on fourth down, they couldn't pick up a first down. And Notre Dame took over, and they kicked. Now with the ball is Simpson. Simpson coming off of the left side of Notre Dame's line, right over his own right tackle as he gets across the 20 up to the 22. A 2-yard advance in the play, and it'll be second down, 8 yards to go. A bright, sunny, windy, very cold day here at South Bend, Indiana. The stadium holds 59. The game's been a sellout for weeks, but it snowed throughout yesterday and all last night and this morning. Going with the ball is Norris. As Norris takes the handoff from Snook and comes from the 22 up to the 25, right over his own right guard and right tackle. Bassey's coming in to make the stop. Ball is just about 18 yards in from this, the west side. No score in the ball game. It's third down and 5.
It's interesting to note, Jim, that Iowa, of course, has not been known as a running team. And I believe at this point that Snook has only thrown one pass. Obviously, they want to set that running game.
With the ball is Snook, this time going back to throw. He throws. It's complete to Jacobazzi across the way, and he's brought down immediately by Nick Rassus. As he gets up to about the 28-yard line, Jacobazzi, the right end, that time drifted over and took the pass from Snook on the far side of the field. On the 28 was hit immediately by Rassus.
Jim, you have to make a comment on the fine play by Nick Rassus because that was just a quick sideline by Jacobazzi. And that's very difficult to stop for less than a 4 or 5 yard gain, which Iowa needed. However, Rassus was right on top of it, made the tackle immediately after the reception.
Moses back to punt. Rassus deep for the Irish. There's the kick in. It's against the wind. Not a particularly long kick, and it takes reverse English at midfield and bounces down to the Hawkeyes' 46-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 now for Notre Dame when Iowa's 46. 5 minutes, 57 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. No score in this ball game. No timeouts have been calling. Bill Wolski comes in as the offensive unit. Now comes in, and we do have a timeout. The clock is stopped in the field with the score here at Notre Dame Stadium. Iowa nothing, Notre Dame nothing. All right, back to the ball game. Jim Gibbons along with Jim Morris. Notre Dame's ball in Iowa territory. With the ball is Nick Eddy. Coming to this side and getting to the outside across the 45, the 40, and down he goes on the 35-yard line. Nick Eddy with the ball on the far side of the field, swung to this side, the near side. He got outside the end with blocking in front of him and got down to the 35-yard line. A 12-yard gain on the part of Nick Eddy and a first down for Notre Dame.
And Jim, Nick Eddy, for a sophomore, has certainly developed the talent of using his blockers that time because he made a move in, as I've mentioned so many times before, which enabled both Walski and Farrell to get key blocks on the run.
Out of the double wing, calling the signal, Johnny Heward, 18 yards in from this side. Heward gives to Eddy. Eddy gets across the 35, and down he goes in about the 32 or 33-yard line. Ivory McDowell came in to make the tackle. As Eddy tried to come again to this side, he got one block at the line of scrimmage, and then was upended as he got just inside the 33-yard line. So it'll be 2nd and 8.
And, Jim, that's the play we have not seen on Notre Dame's part so far this year. A quick inside reverse to Eddy, the wingback, coming against the grain from the set position. That's the first time Ara Parseghian has run the play this year.
Jack Snow flanked out to this side. The ball just 18 yards in from this, the west side. Going with the ball is Wolski across the line, down to about the 25-yard line, the 24. Bill Wolski, quick opener behind his own right guard and right tackle, the left side of Iowa's line. Brought down by McDowell and Moreland. Wolski gave no indication that he's bothered at all with that leg injury on that particular run. Bill Wolski from Muskegon, Michigan, 5'11", 195 pounds. His average is 5 yards per carry. 1st and 10 for Notre Dame, and the first serious threat of a score. Calling the signal, Johnny Heward. The ball just about 20 yards in from the north side. With the ball is Eddy, and Eddy whirls away from tacklers, but not enough. He got away from big number 70, who is Mitchell, but was brought down by Randolph on about the 22-yard line. So it'll be 2nd down and about 8 yards to go. We have 3 minutes, 38 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Iowa has Long and Wilder at the ends, Briggs and Mitchell along with Hilsebeck, Deutsch, and Gerke. Up forward, calling the signals, is Johnny Heward. No score in this ball game. With the ball is Heward. Back to pass. Fakes once, pumps, throws, and it's no good. Intended for Jack Snow. Broken up by Dave Moreland. So it'll be 3rd and 8. No score in the ball game. If you're joining us a little bit late, we have 3 minutes, 19 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Notre Dame won the toss, elected to kick off, taking the win. Iowa moved from their own 24 into Notre Dame territory to the 45. The Irish held. Took over the ball. They couldn't move. They punted. Iowa had the punt, and now Notre Dame has moved from the 47 down to the 22-yard line of Iowa. With the ball is Wolski, sweeping to the far side. He's got one blocker in front, but not enough as down he goes on the 21-yard line. Bill Wolski, running laterally along the 22-yard line, had one blocker in front of him, but he couldn't take out Lewis Williams, the defensive end, and down he went on the 21-yard line.
Iowa's been basically thus far in the ball game in a 5-2 defense, but every once in a while they'll take one of their deep backs, Ivory McDowell, and make a monster out of him. In other words, put him on one side or the other with no specific assignment but to get in there and make the tackle or to knock down a particular receiver.
All right, Jimmy, Kenny Ivan has gone in. They're going to try a field goal. They'll have a following win. The kick will be made from the 37-yard effort, and it's way short. Goes into the end zone. The clock is stopped in the field with the score here at Notre Dame Stadium. Notre Dame nothing, Iowa nothing.
Val Hurt swings.
Game, and Norris just went 15 yards for the Hawkeyes from the 20 up to the 35-yard line. And now with 1st down and 10 to go, Gary Simpson cracks off his own left guard and goes up to about the 42, but he fumbled, and Notre Dame recovered. And it looks like Bassey's recovered. Iowa Hawkeyes fumbled, and Bassey's recovered for the Irish on the 38-yard line. So Craig Norris, who reeled off a 15-yard gain for the Hawkeyes, then saw Notre Dame come in as the fumble occurred on about the 38-yard line with Bassey's, Arunas Bassey's, who's in at the left linebacking spot for the Irish, recovering. Ball just 18 yards in from the east side. Johnny Heward with his team in the double wing as they come out of it now and go into the I formation. Heward with the ball, hands off quickly to Eddie. Eddie breaks away from tacklers across the 35, the 30, down to about the 26-yard line. Eddie coming over his own left guard. He was set at the right side. He cross-bucked, came up and danced his way away from tacklers down to the 27-yard line.
And, Jim, we can now see why Notre Dame is using that counter. Ara Parseghian apparently has spotted in the Iowa defense. Every time that Notre Dame goes into a strong formation, one side or the other, Iowa's defense will stack that way.
All right, Jimmy, it's 1st and 10 for Notre Dame on the 27-yard line of the Hawkeyes. With the ball is Joe Farrell, the fullback, cracking over his own left tackle and getting down to about the 22-yard line before he's brought down to the Hawkeyes. Dave Borland coming in from the secondary to bring him down. 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. No score in this ball game. And we have an official's timeout for the moment. Down 5 yards to go for Notre Dame. No score in this ball game. Jack Snow swings out wide to the right. The ball is equal distance between the sidelines. Johnny Heward calling the signals in the I formation. He gives off to Farrell, and Farrell is stopped at the, or rather hit at the 22, but bulls his way down to about the 20-yard line. Actually, it was Nick Eddy, number 47, not 42. Nick Eddy was hit at the 22, got away from tacklers, and got down to the 20-yard line. And that's the end of the first quarter with the score, Notre Dame nothing, Iowa nothing. Well, 55 seconds remaining here in the first half. No score in this ball game, but Notre Dame has made the deepest penetration so far down to the 13-yard line, where they have second down, 8 yards to go. With the ball is Wolski, and he is hit just as he gets that ball. He's very fortunate to hang on to it as down he went. Williams was the first tackler, and 31 was also hit on the play. Gerke, the linebacker, as they brought him down. Nick Eddy comes out of the ball game. Third down and 8 yards to go. Andriotti goes in, so it'll be Andriotti, number 25, Wolski, number 35. Coming out now in the double wing formation, Andriotti to this side, Wolski to the far side. Now they bounce back into the variation of the I formation. As Heward calls signal, the whistle blows, and Wolski on the same play is hit again and brought down at about the 11-yard line. But the whistle blew before the play started, and I suspect that maybe Notre Dame took a little too much time in the huddle. Eddy comes back into the ball game. 5-yard penalty being assessed against Notre Dame. 13 minutes remaining here in the first half. No score.
You know, Jim, as we're in the second quarter, I think it's obvious that many people have not given Iowa their proper due this year. You know, they've lost 5 ball games, but 4 of those ball games have been lost by a total of 8 points, so they're really not as bad as that record might indicate.
All right, back to the ball game, out of the double wing. Nick Eddy back in the ball game. With the ball is Heward. Heward firing way over the head of the intended receiver, Sheridan, but a flag goes down. And interference will be called against number 28, Sorensen. And Bud Suter, who is doing the courtesy of spotting for Iowa, says, gosh, because the pass was way over the head of the intended receiver.
That's the comment I was going to make, Jim. It's difficult for Iowa fans, I'm sure, to take on that particular call, although the ref was right on top of it. But there's no way in the world Sheridan ever could have gotten to that pass. It was way over his head.
All right, it's 1st and goal to go for Notre Dame on the 3-yard line. Johnny Heward gives to Wolski, and Wolski's in there for a score. Bill will try for the point after as Sandy Bonvecchio goes into hole. There's the pass from center. There's the kick, and it is good. The clock is stopped in the field with a score here at Notre Dame Stadium. However, a flag on the play. Flag on the play, but the kick is good. Notre Dame, 45-yard line, and this penalty that will be effective because there's a strong wind blowing into the face of the kicker. We'll see whether or not Kenny Ivan can get it down to the end zone in face of this 25-mile-an-hour wind. The ball blows off of the kicking tee. Referee Myers blowing the whistle. Here comes Kenny Ivan. Score is 7-0. There's the kick in the air. Coming up to take it on the 4-yard line is Kimball. He's at the 10, the 15, the 20. Fights his way up to about the 22 or 23-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Hawkeyes on their own 23. All right, Jimmy, with the ball and fumbling it again. And if he doesn't fall on it, it'll be picked up by Notre Dame. Let's see who recovers. The ball is on about the 13-yard line. It was Norris. Now will recover their own fumble. The ball was just bouncing along the ground. He was trying to pick it up, and finally he had to fall on it, back on the 13-yard line. Craig Norris. So we'll probably see quite a number of fumbles here this afternoon because it is very cold. It's going to be difficult to handle that ball. Not only is the temperature low, but the wind is pretty high, so it'll be pretty tough. With the ball is Snook rolling to his right, hanging on to it, looking downfield, finds a block as he gets across up to about the 19-yard line. Gary Snook, veering to his right, drifted behind the line of scrimmage, finally brought down by Jim Carroll as he got the ball back to the 19-yard line. The loss in the previous play from the 23 to the 13 with 10 yards, and he got back 5 of them.
And on that last play, Notre Dame moved from its familiar 4-4 defense into a regular gap 8 defense. First time that we've seen that, actually, this year.
3rd down, 15 yards to go for Iowa on their own 19-yard line. Gary Snook back to pass, looks, throws, it's too low for the intended receiver, Jack Simpson, who is out in the left flat from the passer. So it'll be 4th down and 14. Score is 7-0. Notre Dame leads.
Jim, some scores from around the country now in the first period. Michigan 0, Ohio State 0.
Remaining. Here's the punt. Just gets it away. A high kick going across midfield, down inside the 40, down inside the 35, and it'll be killed on the 34-yard line by Iowa. So it'll be 1st and 10 now for Notre Dame on their own 34-yard line. With Eddie, Wolski, and Farrell in the backfield. Snow and Sherrod in the end. Heward with the ball, back to throw, and it's no good. Johnny Heward intended for Nick Eddy. The pass was too short. In the wind. 10 minutes remaining here in the first half. Notre Dame leads by a score of 7-0. And I certainly want to congratulate these fans. They can't hear us, but to brave this cold weather, the stands were just covered with snow and still are. But it's a crowd now of well over 50,000. The game, of course, was a sellout. Out of the huddle comes Notre Dame with both Eddy and Snow. Flanked wide to the right. The ball is about 20 yards in from the south side. Going with the ball and passing is Heward to Snow. He's in the open at the 40. May go all the way to 20. 10. He's over for a touchdown. Johnny Heward dropped straight back, threw to Jack Snow, who took the ball at about midfield and went all the way for a touchdown, 66 yards.
And Jimmy, I don't know if these fans have ever seen Johnny Unitas throw that flare and up pass that he throws to his halfback or fullback Jerry Hill, but that's a little takeoff on that type of play. There was 2 men flanked to the right that time with Jack Snow on the inside.
All right, back to the ball game, and Notre Dame kicked off, and Jacobazzi caught the ball on the 25, tried to cut to come back as he moved upfield and went out of bounds. He slid out of bounds, very unhappy with himself, on the 26-yard line. So it's Iowa's ball now on their own 26. They trail in this ball game by a score of 14-0. Notre Dame striking suddenly as Johnny Heward dropped straight back and hit Jack Snow at about midfield. The entire play covering 66 yards. Gary Snook back to throw, passes. It's complete to Jacobazzi. He fights his way across the 35 up to the 39-yard line before he's brought down. Jacobazzi, the right end, on a crossover pattern, came over and took the ball on the 35 and went up to the 39. A gain from the 26, 13 yards, and it's 1st and 10 now for Iowa, trailing by a score of 14-0 with 9 minutes remaining here in the first half. Simpson at the left half, and Noonan is the flanker back. If Gary Snook hands off to Norris. Norris comes off his own left tackle and gets up to about the 43. Before he's hit and brought down by Vassie. Same situation that Jimmy Morris pointed out to you early in the ball game, that they're going to be trying the Notre Dame line with Meyer, who filled in so well against Michigan State, out of there, and Vassie's in as one of the linebackers. But he's made a number of tackles so far. Carl Noonan is flanked wide to the right. Snook dropping straight back to pass, being rushed, and down he goes under a host of tacklers way back in the 32. The first to hit him was Tom Kostelnik. He waited too long as he looked downfield, and big Tom Kostelnik, a senior from Hiller, Pennsylvania, came in to drop him back on the 33, they say, so it'll be third down in long yardage. Original line of scrimmage was the 39. Third and about 16. Score is 14-0. 8 minutes remaining here in the first half. Snook once again fakes the pass, comes straight across the middle up to about the 38-yard line. Gary Snook just straightened up, faked the pass, and came right up the middle to the 38.
And Jim, I know that many Notre Dame fans around the country will be sorry to hear that Eddie Simich, a former Notre Dame fullback, who is now the director of athletics at Montana School of Mines, is gravely ill in the hospital. And, of course, we wish Ed the very best and hope he gets back, hope he's listening today, of course, and hope he gets back on his feet in good shape.
All right, Jimmy. Nick Rasmus goes deep for Notre Dame, and back to punt is Moses. High kick, but not particularly long. However, the wind is going to help it. Bounces inside the 30, inside the 25, still rolling. Now hits one of the Iowa player's foot and rolls. Flag goes down, and a couple of the Iowa Notre Dame boys, tempers flare for the moment, across the way. The ball is on the 22-yard line of Notre Dame. It'll be Notre Dame's ball. 7 minutes remaining here in the first half. Score is 14-0. Notre Dame and Iowa. All right, the ball is just over the 21-yard line. We had offsetting penalties. With the ball is Bill Wolski trying to go outside his own left tackle. Gets across the 25 up to about the 26-yard line before he's brought down. Randolph is the first one to hit him as he brings him down on the 26. A gain of about 5 yards. So it'll be 2nd and 5. Score is 14-0. Notre Dame leads Iowa with 6 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in the first half. Notre Dame moving 66 yards for their second touchdown. Went 38 for the first after they recovered a fumble to set it up. Out of the huddle they come on 2nd down, 5 yards to go. Johnny Heward with the ball. Gives to Eddie, and Nick Eddy gets off his own left guard and he gets up to about the 28-yard line before Bill Briggs came in to make the stop. It'll be 3rd down and approximately 3 yards to go for Notre Dame. Eddy comes out of the ball game as Andriotti goes in. So it's Snow, Sheridan, Snowden, Meeker, Atamian, Arrington, and Nicola on the forward wall for the Irish. Hewitt, Farrell, Wolski, and Andriotti in the backfield. Johnny Hewitt calling the signals. He keeps the ball, and down he goes. Probably was a busted play, although the Iowa tackle in very fast. As he faked to his fullback, turned as though he wanted to handle the ball to somebody, and Bill Briggs, the junior, came crashing in to drop him right on the 27-yard line. So it'll be 4th down and 4 yards to go. And Iowa sends Carl Noonan, along with Dave Moreland deep. Notre Dame's Jack Snow will be kicking into a strong wind blowing in from the south-southwest. A big play from Johnny Heward to Jack Snow. Now Jack Snow standing back on the 9-yard line. There's the pass from center. There's the kick, and it's a low kick into the wind. Goes up to the midfield stripe, over the midfield stripe, down to the 47-yard line. Actually turned out to be a very fine kick. It was low and off the side of his foot, but it kept bouncing along and got down to the 47-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 now for Iowa on their 47.
From the look on Jack Snow down there, I think he's happy he got that one over the line, Jim. It didn't look like he was going to make it for a minute.
Out of the huddle come the Hawkeyes with Snook, Norris, Simpson, and Noonan. In the backfield, Gary Snook back to pass, looking downfield, throws, and it's complete. There's Noonan. Noonan gets away from one tackler down to the 40-yard line of Notre Dame. He spun out of the grass for a moment of longo and got down to the 40. That's the combination, as Carl Noonan has caught 29 passes for 438 yards and 4 touchdowns. That isn't Noonan, that's O'Hara I'm talking about. Noonan has much more than that. 57 passes, 910 yards. O'Hara is the left end. Noonan flanks this side. This time with the ball is Snook once again, looking for Noonan. And it is no good, broken up beautifully by Tony Carey. Carey coming in and gets a hand from the crowd. knocked the ball out of the hands of Carl Noonan. It'll be 2nd and 10. 3 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in the first half. Score 14-0. Notre Dame leads.
Jim, you can't say too much about the fine defensive work this year of Tony Carey. We all know, of course, that he has 8 interceptions, and that was just a magnificent defensive play that he made on Noonan. One-on-one coverage.
With the ball is Norris, and with Norris, and a beautiful tackle is Kevin Hardy. Harvey belted him just as he got that ball. Back of the line of scrimmage on the 41-yard line. Kevin Hardy. 3 minutes, 29 seconds remaining here in the first half. Third down, 11 yards to go for Iowa on the Notre Dame 41-yard line. Score is 14-0. Iowa comes out of the huddle. Calling the signals is Gary Snook, their fine quarterback. Flank to the left is Noonan. Back to pass is Snook, and down he goes. He fumbles the ball, but I believe the whistle blew first. McGlisick was the first to hit him. Dan Gamitter also was in on the play as the rush was on by Notre Dame, way back on the 47-yard line of Iowa. And so it'll be 4th down and long yardage. 2 minutes, 46 seconds remaining here in the first half. Score 14-0. Notre Dame leads. Back to punt is Mickey Moses. Deep for the Irish. Nick Rassis standing way back on the 11-yard line. Moses back on the 33. Gets the ball, and it's partially blocked. Bounces across the 50 down to about the 45-yard line of Iowa. I didn't detect the Notre Dame player that came in to block that kick. Could have been Kevin Hardy, but we'll check that for you. Kick partially blocked, and it'll be the Irish ball on their own 45 with 2 minutes, 7 seconds remaining here in the first half. Score is 14-0. Notre Dame leads in a very cold day. All right, Jimmy. Out of the huddle come the Irish. They lead this ball game 14-0. Field, incidentally, is in good shape. Heward back to pass, throws, and it's no good. Intended for Jack Snow. Snow was down on about the 43-yard line. He came back to try to pick it up, but couldn't as Gibbs was in to defend. And the pass was far short of the target. It'll be 2nd down, 10 yards to go. Andriotti comes into the ball game as Nick Eddy comes out. Notre Dame backfield has Heward at quarter, Wolski and Andriotti the halves, and Joe Farrell is at full. Jack Snow swinging wide to this side. The split end. The ball is just about 18 yards in from the east side of the playing field. So Snow is split to the wide side of the field. Heward back to pass, looking for Snow, throws long. And Snow is there as the ball bounces away from him and goes to the turf. In defending was Gibbs. Snow was way down on the 19-yard line, as that Johnny Heward has a strong arm throwing into that wind. But Gibbs, Richard Gibbs went high in the air, the sophomore, as the ball bounced off of the shoulder pad, actually, of Snow to the turf. So it'll be 3rd down and 10 yards to go. A minute, 46 seconds remaining here in the first half. Notre Dame leads 14-0. Out of the huddle comes Notre Dame, and they have the same offensive formation that scored for them a few moments ago. Snow wide to this side, and Eddy flanked outside. Heward back to pass, throws, and it's no good. As Nick Eddy apparently overran his pattern just a little, or Snow threw short, one of the two. Anyway, he had overrun the pass. He turned to try to grab it with one hand, but couldn't, so it'll be 4th down and 10 yards to go. Nick Eddy, who was flanked to this side, cut back. Pass went to the turf on the 45-yard line. Carl Noonan goes deep for Iowa. Not too far, however, as the wind is against the kicker, Jack Snow. Snow is standing back on the 32-yard line. Noonan is on the 23. A minute 41 remaining here in the first half. Notre Dame leads. With the kick is Snow. Another low driving kick, and it's got good distance as Noonan takes it on the 20. Tries to go, and down he goes as Tom Kostelny got him right around the ankles. And again, Jack Snow, who had that kick equally low as the other, but got distance out of it as it went way down to the 20-yard line. They actually mark it down in the 19. So it'll be 1st and 10 now for the Hawkeyes on their own 19.
And, Jim, you could see when Iowa had the ball in the last series what a great end, actually, that Carl Noonan is. He's got some terrific moves out there. Tommy Carey made a great defensive play on him one time, but a couple other times he had some great moves out there, and Snook just couldn't get him the ball.
Snook with the ball back to pass. As he looks downfield, throws. It's no good. Intended for O'Hara. Straight down over the line when O'Hara Snook threw the pass, but it was a little low and went to the turf, and it'll be second down, 10 yards to go. 56 seconds remaining here in the first half. Score is 14-0. Notre Dame leads Iowa. Out of the huddle come the Hawkeyes. They've got Snook, Craig Norris, Dalton Kimball, Carl Noonan. With the ball is Snook. Back to pass, throws, and it is no good. Again, O'Hara went high in the air for it. There with him, too, was Dalton Kimball. But defending on the play was Tony Carey. 51 seconds remaining here in the first half. Iowa has the ball. Third down, 10 yards to go on their own 19-yard line. The ball just about 18 yards in from the far side of the playing field, from the east side. Score is 14-0. Notre Dame has struck twice, once from 38 yards out as they moved in 8 plays for a touchdown, and the other from their own 34. Back to pass to Snook, throws it, intended for Noonan, and it's no good. And it'll be fourth down and 10 to go. Defending on the play was Tony Carey, but the pass was wide of the target and wide of the defender. 47 seconds. The cheer going up from the stands for the defensive team of Notre Dame. Deep once again is Nick Rassis. Moses standing on the 5. Juggles the ball and just barely gets the kickoff. Calling for the fair catch is Bill Wolski. He fumbles it after he catches it, but I believe he recovered it. Bill Wolski called for the fair catch. There's a flag downfield. Michigan leads Ohio State 7-0. There's a flag downfield. If that penalty is against Notre Dame, then Iowa naturally will kick over because the kick just barely got off. It's on the 44-yard line of Iowa. 39 seconds remaining here in the first half. Illegal procedure against Iowa declined, so it was against the Hawkeyes. The Hawkeyes apparently felt the penalty was against Notre Dame because they went all the way down to the other side of the field. They thought the penalty was against Notre Dame and they were going to get to kick over again, but this was not the situation. The penalty was against Iowa. Score is 14-0. Notre Dame leads. We have 39 seconds remaining. Cheer went up as the Michigan-Ohio State score was announced, which we gave you. Michigan leading at halftime 7-0. Brown 7, Columbia nothing. Dartmouth 7, Pennsylvania nothing. Back to this ball game as Johnny Hewitt is calling the signals for Notre Dame, and Hewitt dropping straight back. Fakes once, pumps, throws down, and it's complete to Sheridan. He's hit immediately at the 30-yard line. Terry Ferry came in to make the stop. Across the 30-yard line, down on the 29. So it'll be first and 10. With 26 seconds remaining, Notre Dame calls timeout. Notre Dame leads by a score of 14-0. Ball is on the 29-yard line of the Iowa Hawkeyes. Possession of Notre Dame. And now, so that our stations around the country might have a chance to identify themselves, we pause 10 seconds for station identification.
Stadium, and we, of course, can look out and see that planting site.
All right, back to the ball game. First and 10. The ball on the 30-yard line. Johnny Hewitt racing back to pass. Being rushed by Notre Dame. Iowa, and he throws the ball. And it's touched by number 63, Arrington of Notre Dame. And they're calling it intentional grounding of a pass, I believe. That's what it's going to be, is the penalty will be moved off against Notre Dame back to the 41-yard line. 19 seconds remaining here in the first half. Notre Dame leads by a score of 14-0.
An ice rink, a baseball diamond, and many other sports facilities.
All right, Jimmy. Johnny Hewitt has Snow and Eddie to the right side as he's pressured out of the pocket. Running with the ball, throws it downfield, and it's no good. And there was a flag across the way. We have 13 seconds remaining here in the first half. Notre Dame leads by a score of 14-0 in a very cold, windy afternoon. But the playing field, as we've told you, is in good condition. They had it covered with a tarp. The snow that fell here throughout yesterday and last night and this morning. Joe Farrell at fullback. 13 seconds remaining. This could be the last play of the first half. Johnny Hewitt straight back to pass. Flag goes down as the ball is bouncing off of Iowa fingertips and goes to the turf. A penalty charged, I believe, against Notre Dame with 5 seconds remaining here in the first half. Cheering going up from the Notre Dame student section down below us. Let's see if we can pick it up. All right, Jimmy, we have 5 seconds remaining. Notre Dame leads by a score of 14-0. Eddie and Snow are extremely wide to the right. Johnny Heward hands off to Wolski, and Wolski whirls away from one tackler, but not another as he goes across midfield off his own left guard and gets up to about the 49-yard line as the first half comes to an end. Kenny Ivan, a junior, 6'1", 190 pounds. A whistle blows, and a good kick by Ivan. Coming up to take it is Kimball on the 11-yard line. He's at the 20, gets to the 25, at the 30, 35, still on his feet as he comes straight ahead up to the 39-yard line. A fine return from the 11-yard line by Kimball, Dalton Kimball, as he came all the way up to the 39-yard line before Ken McGlisty came in to make the stop. A return of 28 yards. Out of the huddle come the Hawkeyes. Gary Snook at quarterback. Dalton Kimball is at the left half. Craig Norris at right. And the flanker back is Carl Noonan. With the ball is Simpson now breaking into the open across the 40 up to the 45 and to the 49-yard line before he's brought down. Gary Simpson, who came into the ball game and moved over his right side, the left side of Notre Dame's line. He came outside his tackle and inside the end and got all the way up to the 49, very close to a first down, close enough for a measurement. Now it makes it appear even colder than the temperature would indicate. Score is 14-0. Snook back to pass, throws, and it's no good. He was belted by Jim Carroll just as he raised his arm to throw that ball, and the pass that was intended for Jacobazzi was far short of the target. So it'll be second down, 10 to go for the Hawkeyes as they have the ball just shy of the 50-yard mark with 14 minutes, 6 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. The opening seconds of the third quarter. Notre Dame went for 2 touchdowns in the first half. Carl Noonan is flanked to the left. With the ball is Norris trying to go to the outside. He's at midfield, fights his way down to the 45-yard line of Notre Dame. Craig Norris sweeping wide to his left. Got outside the end and got down to the 45-yard line before he was brought down. Coming in to make the tackle once again was Jim Carroll. As the second half is being brought to you by the B.F. Goodrich Company and the Schick Safety Razor Company. Score is 14-0. Notre Dame leads, but the Hawkeyes own the football where they have third down and 5 to go. Notre Dame territory in the 45-yard line. In the T formation with Carl Noonan flanked to the right. Snook back to pass. Throws for Noonan. Can't get to it. In the flat, with him was Tom Longo. It'll be 4th and 5. Iowa Hawkeyes receiving, moving into the wind from the north to the south, the wind blowing in out of the southwest. And so with the ball on the 45-yard line of Notre Dame, Iowa has it. Out of the huddle they come as Mickey Moses has gone in now to do their punting, and Nick Grasses moves back to receive. Grasses standing on the 15-yard line. There's the kick, high in the air and not particularly long. Bounces on the 25 and rolls inside the 20 down to the 18. So good results out of the kick, even though it wasn't very high in the air when it lit. It had overspin and moved on down inside on the 18-yard line, where it's 1st and 10 now for Notre Dame on their own 18. The Irish lead the ball game by a score of 14-0. Joe Farrell is in at fullback. The ends are Snow and Sheridan. Their ball on their own 18. Driving with the ball is Eddie, breaking away from tacklers as he comes up to the 25-yard line. Before Sorensen came in from the secondary to drop him down. Nick Eddy took the handoff and Heward went right over his own left guard, broke through the line of scrimmage and got up to the 25-yard line. A gain of 6 yards in the play, make it 7, so it'll be second down and about 3. Notre Dame coming out of the huddle with Jack Snow flanked wide to the left. The Irish lead the ball game by a score of 14-0. In the I formation, Heward gives to Wolski, and Wolski comes off his own right tackle and gets up for a first down, up to about the 29-yard line. Bill Wolski swinging outside the right tackle, the left side of Iowa's line, and get up to the 30-yard line for a first down. Score is 14-0. Notre Dame leads Iowa with 12 minutes, 18 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Out of the huddle come the Irish. Meeker, Atamian, Nicola, Arrington, Snowden. Along the front wall with Snow and Sheridan. Heward with the ball, gives to Farrell, and Farrell goes outside his right tackle and gets up to about the 33-yard line. And also there are stations around the country might have a chance to identify Dave Moreland. Nick Eddy going outside his tackle inside the end as he got up to about the 39-yard line, 39 and a half. So it'll be third down and about a half a yard to go. 11 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Score Notre Dame 14, Iowa nothing. The Irish with the football. They still put it in play on their own 21-yard line, or rather their own 18-yard line, and moved from there now up to almost the 40-yard line. Johnny Heward hands off to Farrell, and Farrell cracks off his own right guard and gets up to about the 42 for the first down. Joe Farrell, the fullback, went over his own right guard for a first down on the 42-yard line. Ball on the far side of the playing field, just about 18 yards in, as the Iowa Hawkeyes, the old gold and black of Iowa, digs in to try to stop the blue and gold of Notre Dame.
Heward has not thrown the ball, or elected to throw the ball yet this half. It's going to be interesting to watch, Jim, if he tries the short one. As I mentioned, I thought he would, rather than throw the long one because the secondary of Iowa is going so deep.
All right, with the ball is Eddy trying to go to the right, and he's brought down on a fine tackle way behind the line of scrimmage by Gerke. Number 31, Gerke, brought him down back on about the 33-yard line. Nick Eddy took the handoff, tried to go in the same play as he tried to go to the outside, to the short side of the playing field, with Walski and Snow split to the wide side. And down he went on the 33-yard line. So it's second down now and about 17 yards to go. As the Hawkeyes dig in to stop the drive of Notre Dame. Hawkeyes have Wilder along with Long, Briggs, Mitchell, Hilsebeck, Deutsch, and Gerke, with Sorensen, Randolph, Moreland, and McDowell. Notre Dame's ball. Johnny Heward hanging on the ball, tries to go as he tries to slide to his left, and he goes down after picking up maybe a yard. As Iowa fired up for this second half, stopping the drive of Notre Dame.
You have to give Iowa's defense a great deal of credit on that play, Jim, because that was the option play coming to the left, and Notre Dame had plenty of blockers out in front of the halfback, but the the Iowa end got a hold of Johnny Heward so quick that he didn't have a chance to pitch the ball back to his trailing halfback.
Out of the huddle comes Notre Dame on third down, long yardage, 18 yards. With the ball and a quick kick is Jack Snow. Snow boots it downfield. It's on the 20, down to the 15, down to the 10. And it's touched by an Iowa man and down back in the end zone. We'll have to see what this call is. Iowa recovers the ball back in the end zone. They had touched it on the playing field, though. So we're wondering whether this is going to be a safety or what it's going to be, or whether it'll be brought out as a touchback. We have not seen any indication from the official as yet. I believe that the ball will be brought out to the 20-yard line. That's what it is, ruled as a touchback. We're a little curious because the ball had touched an Iowa man on field. However, the ball was rolling down. It was on the playing field. They recovered it in the end zone. Ruled a touchback, so it's first and 10 now for Iowa as Notre Dame get off their first quick kick of the season. For the Hawkeyes. With the ball is Craig Norris, and Norris is belted as he tries to go off his own left guard and thrown for a yard loss. Jim Carroll, the captain of Notre Dame, came driving in to drop him on the 19-yard line. So it'll be second down and 11 yards to go for the Hawkeyes. 8 minutes remaining here in the third quarter as Iowa has the ball, trailing Notre Dame by a score of 14-0. Hawkeyes ball in their own territory on the 19-yard line. Carl Noonan is wide to the right. Notre Dame's defensive unit the same. Gary Snook carries the ball as he circles to his right, comes outside his tackle, hangs onto the ball, and gets up to about the 18-yard line, and he's dropped. Another yard loss is Don Gamitter. That time came in to drop him. He was back of the line of scrimmage. He held onto the ball and tried to come upfield and was dropped.
Jim, Iowa is not having as much success running the ball this half as they had in the first half. I think it's obvious that very shortly they're going to have to go to their air game.
All right, Jimmy, 7 minutes, 45 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Notre Dame leads by a score of 14-0. Iowa's ball on their own 18-yard line with third down and 12 to go. Snook back to pass. The rush is on. He throws the screen, but it's low. Will go as an incompleted pass. A halfback screen intended for Simpson, and the pass was short of the target. There was a flag on the play, and Iowa was guilty of illegal procedure, but Notre Dame's captain, Jim Carroll, declines the penalty. They want the football, so Iowa will be punting on 4th down and 12 yards to go. They'll be punting into a rather strong wind out of the southwest. Score of 14-0. Notre Dame is sending Nick Rassis upfield. Nick Rassis, as Mickey Moses will be standing on the 5-yard line to punt. There's the pass. So Notre Dame will have 1st down, now down on Iowa's 11-yard line. Nick Eddy, coming to the short side of the playing field, got away from a tackler at the 35-yard line and swung on down, kept his balance till he got down to the 22, and there was piling on the personal foul against Iowa. Johnny Heward calling the signals. Joe Farrell is standing right behind him, and it's Farrell who gets the ball as he gets down to the 20, and that is all. Number 71, Deutsch. Bill Deutsch, one of the tacklers. I said down to the 20, I meant the 10. However, they put the ball back down on the 10-yard line, and that's where it is. Ball was on the 11, you may recall. The gain of about a yard in the play, just inside the 10, so it'll be 2nd down and 9 yards to go for the 1st down. Out of the huddle comes Notre Dame, leading the ball game 14-0 here in the 3rd quarter. Johnny Heward gives to Farrell, and Farrell cracks off his own right tackle and fumbles the ball, but I believe the whistle may have blown. Did it? I haven't seen. We're waiting now to see whether or not the whistle had blown before the fumble occurred. There's a flag on the play, and a clipping penalty will be called against Notre Dame. Apparently, Notre Dame recovered their own fumble, or the whistle blew before the fumble occurred. In any event, a flag down with the indication that clipping will be assessed against Notre Dame. Waiting to see if there's any indication the ball is Iowa's or Notre Dame's, and apparently it is Notre Dame's ball, and the penalty will be assessed against the Irish. Ball is just about 18 yards in from the east side of the playing field, the far side. Snow is split out to the right. Calling the signal is Johnny Heward. Heward has the ball as he drops straight back, throws the pass to Sheridan. Sheridan is at the 15, down to the 10, down to about the 8-yard line before he's brought down. This game is being brought to you by the B.F. Goodrich Company and the Ship Safety Razor Company. 6 minutes remaining here in the 3rd quarter. Bonvecchio comes into the ball game. The ball is on the 9-yard line. It's 4th down, and obviously Notre Dame is going to go for the field goal. Kenny Ivan has come in too. Ball will be almost a straightaway shot with the following wind. Bonvecchio is marking a spot down on the 16-yard line. Waiting for the pass from City. There it is. There it goes, and it's certainly long enough. Is it good? It's good. He still has not given us the full indication. I presume he's indicating that it is good, but we haven't seen any indication. He stuck up one hand up in the air, no indication, and apparently that kick was not good. The kick was not good. Gary Snook hands off to Simpson as the flag goes down, and Simpson gets to about the 21-yard line. Ball on the 21-yard line. Second down and 9 yards to go for Iowa. There was a flag on the field. They were watching referee Meyer now along with his crew. Notre Dame leads Iowa, and it's the Hawkeyes' ball. With the ball is number 42 Simpson as he tries to come off his own right guard and does get up to about the 25-yard line, and one of the Hawkeyes threw a fine block on one of the officials. Right down on the field, and he went down pretty hard. I haven't seen his number. It's not very funny to him because he folding his legs as he gets up. He was hit rather solidly. The ball is right on the 20-yard line. It'll be 2nd down now and 10 yards to go. Notre Dame has Committer, Hardy, Carroll, Bathes, Kostelnik, Regner, and Page, along with McGlissy, Carey, Longo, and Rassis. Gary Snook back to pass. Looking, has to get out of there, and does, but is going to be thrown for a loss on the 19-yard line. Gary Snook didn't want to waste that ball. He couldn't find anybody open, and he held on to it. 4 minutes, 36 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Notre Dame leads 14-0.
And Jim, another fine job that time done on Noonan by Tony Carey. He was the primary receiver, no question about that. On the play, but Snook just couldn't find him, and the reason he couldn't find him was because he was so well covered.
All right, Jimmy, it'll be third down, 11 yards to go. Noonan is flanked to the right this time. The ball is just about 20 yards in from the west side of the field. And a flag goes down. Too much time charged against Iowa. All right, Jim. Carl Noonan wide to the left. Scores 14-0. Third down, 16 yards to go. Snook back to pass, throws, and it's complete to O'Hara. And O'Hara's at the 25-yard line before he's brought down. A bullet pass from the arm of Gary Snook to O'Hara, the left end. Brought down by Longo and Vassis on the 26-yard line. Not enough for a first down. It'll be fourth down at about 4 yards to go. And again, Jim Moses will come in to kick for the Hawkeyes. Score is 14-0. On a bright, sunny afternoon, but a very cold one with the wind blowing in from out of the southwest, the temperature about 12 to 14 degrees. Back to kick is Moses. He gets the pass from center, boots it. It's high in the air this time. Calling for the fair catch, Nick Rasses goes over his head, and he just faked it. He didn't touch the ball, so it'll be Notre Dame's ball. Rasses just ducked away from that ball. He decided that he'd rather not catch it. Went to the turf on the 43-yard line, so it'll be first and 10 now for Notre Dame on their own 43. They lead this ball game by a score of 14-0 as we have a timeout. And now here's Jim Morris with a word about new Schick hot lather shave cream. All right, back to the ball game, and Johnny Hewart took the handoff and was thrown back on the 35-yard line. A 5-yard loss on the play as Johnny Hewart tried to get away from tacklers, was dropped back on the 35. So it'll be second down and approximately 18 yards to go. Out of the ball game comes Bill Wolski. It'll be Hewart at quarterback, Andriotti, Eddy, and Farrell. Score is 14-0. Notre Dame leads Iowa with 2 minutes, 17 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Hewart dropping straight back this time, fakes once, looks downfield, throws his screen to Sheridan in the end, and Sheridan's at the 40. He's at the 45, midfield, down to the 48-yard line. Down he goes, number 70, who is Mitchell, and 71, who is Deutsch, came in to make the stop. That's the second time now we've seen that screen pass to the end. We saw it in the opener against Wisconsin, you may remember, Jimmy, and set up their second touchdown, I believe.
That's right, Jim, and three great blocks on that play by Atamian, Arrington, and Meeker. They picked off the Iowa defenders in fine style. Three real great blocks.
First down for Notre Dame, down on the 47-yard line of Iowa. Minute 56 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. Notre Dame leads by a score of 14-0. Out of the huddle come the Irish. Nick Eddy is split wide to the right. Outside, the split end Jack Snow. Bill Wolski is back in the ball game along with Joe Farrell, the running backs. Wolski has the ball as he comes to this side. He's at the 40, inside the 40, down to the 35. Bill Wolski took the ball from Hewart and came to this side of the playing field, got a good block upfield as he got down inside the 35-yard line. John Atamian threw a good block for him, and it'll be very close to a first down again, if it is. As a matter of fact, it is, because it was a 12-yard gain. First and 10 for Notre Dame, down on the Iowa 35-yard line. Same offensive formation to the wide side of the playing field. The ball is just about 20 yards in from this to the west side. Eddy and Snow are wide to the right. The ball goes to Wolski. Wolski tries to go outside the tackle inside the end, and as he cut back, he was hit just at the line of scrimmage and falls forward to the 34. 58 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. 14-0 is the score. No leads.
And Jim, to bring the people up to date around the country now, that Michigan-Ohio State game, the end of three quarters, Michigan still leads Ohio State by the score of 7-0. That, of course, is for the Big Ten championship and probably a trip to the Rose Bowl.
All right, Jimmy, the ball is equal distance between the sidelines. Once again, wide to the right, Snow and Eddy. With the ball is Wolski. Coming to this side, Wolski gets away from one tackler, but down he goes, right at about the 30-yard line. Bill Wolski trying to run the ends as he first went to the right, now to the left. Got it inside the 30, down on the 29-yard line. So it'll be third down and approximately 4 yards to go for Notre Dame. As the third quarter may end before this play gets underway. 5 seconds remaining, 4 seconds, 3, 2, 1. That is it. So now this message from B.F. Goodrich. All right, back to the ball game. Jim Gibbons along with Jim Morris as we prepare to go into the fourth quarter. The ball is on the 29-yard line of Iowa. Notre Dame has it. On third down and about 4 yards to go. Johnny Heward gives to Farrell. Farrell up the middle on the opener. He's to the 25. He's down to the 20. Still on his feet as he gets down to the 18-yard line. Joe Farrell finds a big hole up the middle. Gets down to the 25. Veers to his right and goes inside the 20 down to the 18. Before McDowell came in to make the stop. And so Notre Dame so far today has moved better against the wind than they have with it. Their big long scoring play was a 66-yarder from Heward to Snow. They scored both of their touchdowns, as a matter of fact, against the wind, although they had moved a considerable yardage with the wind in their first one, which was 38 yards after they recovered a fumble. First down for Notre Dame. With the ball, coming to this side is Bill Wolski, and going out of bounds after he gets inside the 15-yard line down to about the 14. Bill Wolski took the handoff, came to the short side of the playing field, the near side, trying to get outside the end, and got thrown out of bounds on the 14-yard line. But it's a gain of a good 4 yards. It'll be second down, 6 yards to go. 2nd and 6 for Notre Dame on the 14-yard line of Iowa. Notre Dame leads by a score of 14-0. And now the Hawkeyes have to dig in to stop the Irish. Jack Snow is split to the left. The ball is just 18 yards in from this, the west side. Right behind Heward is Joe Farrell. And with the ball is Farrell. As Farrell cracks off with the right side of his line, the guard, he stopped at the line of scrimmage and then pulls his way down inside the 10-yard line before he's brought down. Ball is on the 9-yard line, so it'll be third down and a yard to go as Notre Dame now along the ground begins to move deep into Iowa territory. They lead the ball game by a score of 14-0. Out of the huddle come the Irish. The ball just about 18 yards in from this, the west side. Snow is flanked to the left. In the I formation, Johnny Heward again gives to Farrell, and Farrell fights his way down for that first down and about the 7-yard line. First and goal for Notre Dame on the 7. Notre Dame took this ball on their own 43-yard line, and they have moved now 50 yards down to the 7-yard line. In 9 plays, they lead the ball game by a score of 14-0. The Iowa Hawkeyes now have got to dig in to stop the touchdown drive of the Irish. Jack Snow is put to the right. Out of the double wing they come with Eddie Wright behind Farrell, and Eddie gets the ball, and down he goes as he tries to go off his own left tackle. Coming in at a driving tackle was Bob Sorensen. Throwing him for about a yard loss back to the 8. So it'll be third and goal to go from the 8, or second and goal to go from the 8. 12 minutes, 42 seconds remaining in the ball game. Notre Dame leads Iowa by a score of 14-0. Notre Dame scored both of their touchdowns in the first half, both actually in the second quarter. Purdue and Indiana in the first quarter, 7-7. Out of the huddle come the Irish with Eddie and Snow flanked to the right. With the ball is Wolski. As Wolski is tripped up and brought down right at the line of scrimmage in a fine play by the Iowa Hawkeyes. Once again, it was Bob Sorensen who came in, got him right around one ankle, as Wolski might have gone for a few yards. But he was brought down, and Joe Farrell comes out of the ball game injured. Joe Farrell is limping as he comes out of this ball game, and it appears that he hurt an ankle. Timeout for Notre Dame, and now this for Schick. Cantor has gone in for him. On third down, goal to go. Johnny Heward flips back to Eddie, and Eddie's at the 5. He may score. He is in there for a touchdown. Nick Eddy, on a fine effort, came wide to the right from the middle of the playing field, came outside Iowa's left end, outside his own right end, and went into the coffin corner for a touchdown. He was actually hit on about the 1 or 2 yard line, but he pulled his way in for the score. The sophomore halfback from Tracy High School in Tracy, California.
Some fine blocks that time, both by Pete Andriotti and Bill Wolski, who were both flanked to the right, Jim. An excellent job. Little Pete only weighs about 165. He delivered an excellent block.
All right, the try for point after touchdown by Ivan, and it is good. And now this message from B.F. Goodrich. Here's the kickoff, and coming up with the ball is Kimball. He takes it on about the 20, gets back to the 30, the 35, up to the 40, up to the 41-yard line. Make it the 42. Fine return on the part of Dalton Kimball. So Iowa trailing by a score of 21-0 with 11 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the ball game. Now we'll try to move downfield. A remarkable thing about this Notre Dame team, they scored 3 touchdowns, all against a strong wind today. Wind hasn't helped them much. With the ball on a fine throw from Snook is O'Hara. O'Hara down in the right flat took the ball on about the 49-yard line, went across the midfield stripe and out of bounds on the 47 as he picked up a first down. Sam Longo making the stop. Score is 21-0, 11 minutes remaining in the ball game. Iowa has the football, the Notre Dame territory on the 47-yard line, about 18 yards in from the east side of the playing field. Carl Noonan is split to the right. Snook back to pass, looks, throws, and it's no good. Intended for Simpson. Hit him on the hands and bounced to the turf. Pass out in the flat. Over with him was Tom Kostelnik. 10 minutes, 46 seconds remaining in the ball game. Notre Dame leads by a score of 21-0. Score we've given you, Michigan 7, Ohio State nothing. That's at the end of the third quarter. Snook throws. It's complete to Noonan, and Noonan is inside the 40, down at about the 37-yard line. It's a first down or very close to it. Bud Suter of Iowa says it is, but I think we're going to have to wait till the referee gives us that decision back, and he's calling for a measurement. Looks like it's very close to a first down. 10 minutes, 33 seconds remaining here in the ball game. Notre Dame leads 21-0 with 10 minutes, 33 seconds remaining. 10 minutes, 32 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Carl Noonan is flanked to the right. Snook back to throw. Throws, and it's no good. He had O'Hara in the open. He threw it a little bit too quick. O'Hara, the left end, was down on the 30-yard line. He threw the ball just a little too quick. And now so that our stations around the country might have a chance to identify. Out of the huddle come the Hawkeyes. Gary Snook dropping straight back. Looking downfield. Throws. Again, it's complete to O'Hara inside the 30, down at about the 29-yard line. Making the tackle immediately is Tony Carey. As now Carl Snook begins to find the target with 10 minutes remaining here in this ball game. Notre Dame leads 21-0.
One of the differences between Snook's passing now in the second half as opposed to the first half is simply that Notre Dame's defensive line is not getting to him quite as fast. He's got the additional time back there, and believe me, he can pick out his receivers in a hurry and fire that ball.
With the ball is Simpson going off the right side. His right tackle on the left side of Notre Dame, but he doesn't go very far. We'll see where they place the ball. He was actually thrown back on the 31-yard line, but his forward progress, I believe, is very close to a first down, down on about the 27. Don Gamitter coming in to make the stop. Gary Snook of Iowa. Just shy of a first down. So it'll be fourth down and inches to go. All right, Jimmy. Carl Noonan is split to the right. Straight ahead drive by Snook, and I believe he picked up the first down. He did. Gary Snook and the quarterback sneak. Got the first down. 9 minutes, 20 seconds remaining here in the ball game. Notre Dame leads by a score of 21-0. Iowa has the football on the 26-yard line. On a very cold but bright sunny afternoon. Carl Noonan is wide to the right. Gary Snook with the running backs, Norris and Kimball right behind him. Snook back to pass, being pressured out of the pocket, and down he goes, and a long loss way back to the 40-yard line. Jim Carroll led him, along with Alan Page and Don Gamitter, as he waited a little bit too long, and the rush was on, and he was thrown all the way back to the 39-yard line. Eight minutes, 34 seconds remaining in the ball game. Score is 21-0, and Notre Dame is zealously protecting that goal line of theirs against the Iowa Hawkeyes. Out of the huddle comes Iowa. Second down, 21 yards to go. Snook once again dropping back, and again the pressure is on. He's throwing a pass that actually bounces on the ground. It's picked up by Norris, but the pass was way too low. Big Alan Page, along with big Kevin Hardy, had the rush on that time. So it'll be 3rd and 21. Simpson comes into the ball game. Dalton Kimball goes out. Jerry Burns, with his fine staff across the way, Andy McDonald, Henry Pyro, Richie Codris, Wayne Robinson, Bill Happel. Down below us is Ara Parseghian. We mentioned earlier that Ara had his picture on Time magazine. He's got a big story coming out next week in the Saturday Evening Post. Snook back to pass. The rush is on. He lost the ball high in the air, but it's no good. Down the right side, intended for O'Hara.
Oh, Jim, a variation now in Notre Dame's defense. Of course, all year long we've watched Notre Dame play the 4-4 and the 3 deep. And now these last 5 or 6 plays, they're in really what amounts to a 4-6. And the only man that's really in the deep secondary is Rassus. The other 2 men that are normally in the deep secondary, which would be Longo and Carey, are right up playing even with the linebackers of Notre Dame.
4th down, 23 yards to go, and Gary Snook drops straight back, looks downfield, throws the screen, and the man is hit as he catches the ball and drops. It'll go as an incompleted pass, and a great play that time by Tom Kostelnik, who diagnosed the play correctly and came up and belted the receiver, who was Simpson, I believe, just as he took the pass and was dropped, and so it will take the ball goes over to Notre Dame on the 39-yard line. Ball is on the 39-yard line, Notre Dame's ball. A lot of activity down below, but just as the receiver got his hands in that ball, he was hit by Kostelnik, and so it was an incompleted pass, although the activity after was just extra. Johnny Hewart in at quarterback. The Irish lead 21-0. Hewart gives to Wolski, and Wolski breaks away from tacklers at the 40. He was hemmed in at the 40-yard line. He broke away from tacklers and got up to the 46. Lost his balance and went to the turf. A gain of almost 7 yards in the play, so it'll be 2nd down and about 3 yards to go. 7 minutes, 42 seconds remain. Notre Dame leads 21-0.
And that counterplay that Notre Dame is using so effectively now and have been all day is the same type of plays that have been other teams have been trying to work on Notre Dame to catch the linebackers out of position.
All right, Johnny Hewart gives to Cantor. Cantor is hit right about the line of scrimmage, may have lost a yard in the play. Notre Dame leading, but Notre Dame may have lost the services of Joe Farrell, their fine fullback. We're going to try to find out if we can whether Joe hurt an ankle or a knee. He came out of the ball game, and he was limping very badly.
A real battle and another great rivalry. At the half, it's Purdue 14 and Indiana 14.
Out of the huddle come the Irish on 3rd down and about 3 yards to go. The ball on the 46-yard line. Hewart gives to Eddie. Eddie tries to come off for the right side of his line and does across midfield as he gets down to the 47-yard line of Iowa. Nick Eddy comes behind the blocking of his right guard and right tackle, Snowden and Arrington, and goes all the way into Iowa territory down to the 47-yard line. Almost, well, it is 7 yards on the play. So it's a 1st down, 1st and 10 for Notre Dame. With 6 minutes now remaining in the ball game, they lead by a score of 21-0. Snow is split wide to the left. Calling the signals is Hewart. Hewart gives to Wolski, and Wolski is belted hard. Back of the line of scrimmage in a driving tackle by Gerke. Del Gerke, the linebacker, a senior. Throwing Bill Wolski. Wolski was set on the wing to the left. He took the ball and tried to come to this side. Just as he got it, he was hit. 5 minutes, 57 seconds remaining. 2nd down, 11 yards to go. Notre Dame leads by a score of 21-0. Don't forget, Notre Dame will be out in Southern California. Los Angeles Coliseum. With the ball is Eddie. As Eddie takes it, he's at the 40 and loses his balance as he goes down on the 35-yard line. Nick Eddy might have gone farther than that, but he was dancing around, tried to fool the tacklers, lost his balance, went down on the 35-yard line. It was a draw play to Eddy, and Eddy came off his own right guard, found the opening, and danced his way all the way down to the 34-yard line for another 1st down. So it's 1st and 10. 1st and 10 for Notre Dame. Moving along the ground now with 5 minutes remaining here in the ball game. They lead 21-0. The Irish moving against the Hawkeyes of Iowa. With the ball is Eddie, this time to the other side of the field, off his left guard, and he gets down to about the 32-yard line. Eddie, on an identical play, except he went off the left guard rather than the right, and got down to the 32 before he was brought down. So it's now second down, 7 to go, a 3-yard gain in the play. 4 minutes, 47 seconds remaining. Notre Dame leads 21-0. So the Irish rolling along toward their 9th straight victory. Jack Snow is split to the left. Out of the double wing into the I formation goes Notre Dame. Calling the signal, Hewart. Hewart gives it to Wolski, and Wolski is tripped up just as he gets to the line of scrimmage by Briggs, Bill Briggs, and he falls forward to the 31. So it'll be third down and 6 yards to go for Notre Dame with 4 minutes, 21 seconds remaining here in the ball game. Notre Dame picked up 2 touchdowns in the second quarter, and they scored once in the third. They lead 21-0.